Ahead of the 2023-2024 season, things did not look good for Cardiff Rugby. The previous season had seen them finish as top Welsh region, but they had fallen just short of the URC playoffs. Yet even just a few weeks after the season had ended, that felt like it might be an unrepeatable achievement. A combination of financial difficulties outside of the control of the club and significant staffing issues had led some to speculate if they would even make it to round one of the URC. The financial constraints placed on the Welsh regions is well documented. The WRU cut its funding to the professional game heavily at the end of last season and were no longer subsidising the salaries of top internationals. They had also saddled the regions with a loan during the COVID-19 pandemic that they had to repay to the tune of £2 million per year. For Cardiff though, the situation was even worse. Key financial backer and long-term president Peter Thomas had sadly passed away in March of 2023, meaning the Blue and Blacks had significant cash flow issues. Amidst the chaos, 16 senior squad players left the region during the summer, including stalwarts such as scrum half Lloyd Williams and up-and-coming young talents such as centre Max Llewellyn. Combined with international call-ups due to the World Cup that autumn, it was reported that Cardiff had just 7 players taking an active part in its pre-season training. Meanwhile, recruitment was not just constrained by finances. The WRU initially blocked the signing of South African fly half Tinus de Beer on the grounds that it would be blocking pathways for younger Welsh players coming through. This was later appealed and eventually permitted. Playing staff wasn't the only department in distress. Just 2 days before their final game of the 22-23 season, Director of Rugby Dai Young had been suspended by the region following accusations of bullying, allegations he strongly denied. An investigation found substantial evidence against Young, but the Blue and Blacks announced that he had left by mutual consent in July. Matt Sherratt, a former assistant to Young, was appointed to replace him in late August, just a few weeks before Cardiff's first game of the new season. Legendary loosehead prop Gethin Jenkins wasn't appointed as defence coach until 2 weeks later, and only on a consultancy basis. And yet, 10 games into the season, Cardiff are the darlings of the Welsh rugby media and delighting fans with their on-field performances. Sherratt has been forced to pack the side with young academy talents, many of whom were playing for the Welsh Premiership rag side just a year ago. They may only have 3 wins at time of recording, but they finished within a score of their opposition in all but one game so far, the exception being a heavy away defeat to French champions Toulouse. They play an entertaining, attack-focused brand of rugby that suits their athletically gifted squad, and what's more, it engages their fans. The attendance for each home game so far this season has exceeded that of the last, peaking with a sellout for the Boxing Day demolition of local rivals Dragons. This continues a trend of growing attendances over the last few seasons, all despite a backdrop of a seemingly never-ending doom and gloom. Sherratt recognises the connection between fans and players, saying, quote, "It's a pleasure to watch, and great that they're Cardiff boys as well. I think you can feel at the moment the fans have got an affinity for some of the players on the pitch. Our boys are all from the region, so front row all Rounder boys, back row Ellie Aberdare and Lucas Cardiff lad. But they're all right in our region, so it's something we need to build on." Tinus de Beer, meanwhile, has started every game so far this season. Now, keeping this young talent at the region long term will prove to be a huge challenge in the current financial climate, but there is some hope for a more stable future. Following a thrilling home game against historic rivals Bath, it was announced that Peter Thomas's shares in Cardiff had been sold by the family to Helford Capital Limited, led by Welshman Philip Camp. The group also has business connections to the Middle East. As part of the deal, former Cardiff scrum half and all-time rugby great Gareth Edwards has agreed to become the region's honorary president. While some have dared to dream of big-name signings wearing the blue and black jersey in the near future, the group has said their first priority is Cardiff's Arms Park home venue. Cap is leased to Cardiff by Cardiff Athletics Club, and the relationship between the two parties has not always been smooth. An extension of the lease and a redevelopment of the ground itself is said to be a top priority. Where do you think Cardiff Rugby will be in 5 years' time? Will the new owners deliver on their promise? And can they challenge the best in Europe? Let us know in the comments below.